No, sometimes it's difficult because let's say you are in the. It's difficult. Like you are in the cafe, like stressful shift. Then you come home and then you forgot to. Let's say Carla forgot to place an order, and I have to tell her at 11 o'clock. Carla, did you place the order? Imagine that when you are in the mindset of going to bed, that can actually.
Yeah.
I think, and also
it's not the same that making me a coffee. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes
totally.
Yeah, I don't recommend. No, I think it's hard because sometimes business partner relationship takes over the life partner relationship, and it's hard to find a balance. And things get really, there's
it can get blurry, I would say.
It gets blurry, and there's phases that it's just mainly the business, and then it's hard, I think, but Black Cat keeps us on our feet, on our toes.
Yeah, because it also sounds like, and I'm not just from what you're saying, but I also know it because I know you guys, like there's very little time for you guys, right? There is just a lot of time for the cafe, isn't that the case?
I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we we get so irritated sometimes with each other, and none of us have it's no one's fault, and but there's actually no time for more, and it's hard, but
and is this something you would like to do? You see that change in the future? Or would you want to change that in the future?
Yeah, no, it needs to change. I think it improve. I think even though we've been 6 years, I think we have so much to learn still. And
I think the key thing is delegation. I think we
and finding, which is super hard, but finding people who we can
finding good people
trust and let them take over a bit more, and it gives us time, quality time as well.
Yeah, because you do, I mean, thank God you do seem to, like, sometimes you guys, you do have, I mean, it's not much, but you do have sometimes like some little trips to Portugal. I mean, thank God we see each other at least once or twice a year or something. You seem to get out and have some time with your family and your cute little nephew and stuff, right? Like you do try to find this time to also be you and not you, the chef or the, Black Cat Cafe. Like you can also switch off.
It has to be, because otherwise I think it would affect Black Cat. We wouldn't carry on. Like sometimes you need to learn how to disattach and just go for it and don't think about it.
Do you got better at that over time?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I think about when we started of thinking of going home at 4 o'clock, I don't even passing by to check what was happening. It's hard to imagine, but now kind of learn to say, okay, I'll come tomorrow morning and see if the place is still there.
It hasn't burned down. Everything was fine. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. And so do you have any questions for me, Nacho? Did you already think of questions?
No, I mean, I guess that it's the same. Like, for example, we have our friends Vanessa. Shall I ask? Is he a business partner? Do you consider Nanny a business partner?
Yeah.
Vanessa and Nanny, who run Essential Vegan.
They're amazing, by the way. Essential Vegan, look them up.
And they are still in 1 year in, and always try to tell Vanessa is, look, you need to don't even think of doing double shift 3-4 days in a row. You need to. What would you advise to people starting the vegan businesses or a business altogether? Like, would you say the most important thing is taking care of yourself first and then of the business? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, like, if I look back now, what I did to myself, and it's so unhealthy, and so bad, and also, I mean, Lisa and I touched base on this a few podcasts back. I had Lisa here who is of course my wife and business partner from the cafe. And we were saying, like, always do it with someone else, always have a partner, never start your business by yourself alone, because, you know, like, that would just be the hardest. I mean, Lisa and I were so lucky to have each other, and we were really always running it together, and that helped a lot, because, you know, if I didn't feel good, she did, or, you know, you kind of balance each other out. I think that's a really important thing. But I think in general, I was, funny enough, I just had an afternoon this afternoon with Livia, who makes her own coxinhas, who runs her own vegan business here. And she's also, like, you know, we were also talking about, like, let's not forget that there is also, and I think that's extremely important for you guys too, like, there is also a Nacho who isn't a chef, you know, and there's also a Carla who's not always, you know, in the cafe having to, you know, put fires out and all that kind of stuff. And I think sometimes we forget who we really are, because, you know, like, yeah, I think it's also important that you still are your own person. And it's great to have this dedication. It's great to have this love, you know, and this, like, oh, you know, this commitment. But, you know, we sometimes, I think, a burnout is just around the corner, you know, and it can really, and that's for, you know, when you get that drained or that exhausted, there is no way back, you know, because you're just pushing yourself too hard for so long. You're gonna have a lot of time to heal and rehabilitate, you know. So I think that's an important thing to be really mindful of, you know.
Yeah, I think that should be present in every people's head when they start business. Like,
and I was saying that to another friend of mine the other day. It's like, would you do it again? I said, well, I probably will never do this again. But if I do it again, it needs to be someone who, you know, doing a business partnership with an investor who has money, because money is also, like, such a big issue, you know. Like, and underestimated by so many, like, oh, I only need this and this money and I'll be fine. It's like, no, money is extremely important, because it will, you know, if you start running into debt, you know, that creates more debt, it creates stress, you know, it's, and then you can't even sleep at night, you know.
For example, in our case, if we had money, like, we didn't get any investors or anything, we just paid the previous people were on, and we were there. Maybe we had some extra money, we would have hired a manager, and then Carla wouldn't need to be there on daily basis. Paperwork and
no, definitely. I think that's, and especially your first year, I think, is always the hardest, you know. And I think, like, to just be very mindful of, because I think it's so easy. I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when you go, like, it's just today, you know, I'll just put some extra hours in, like, you know. But before you know it, I mean, I was in the cafe, I was just making 12, 14-hour days every day, you know, nonstop, never. And then on top of that, teaching yoga at night and making cheese somewhere in between. And, you know, it just goes so quick where you kind of, I think it goes really quick and very automatic where you go, the business is more important because that's what I do, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, but what's the business going to be? Like what you just said, Nacho, is such an important thing. Like, it's not good for Black Cat either if you are drained, you know? So it's also important for the business to also think like, yeah, I need some me time. Because, otherwise. But it is, it's just, I think the main message from this conversation is very much, it is extremely hard. And you got to be a little crazy to to have your own business or wanting to have your own business, I think, you know, just, you got to have a lot of sense of adventure, I think, you know, it's very...
But it can be very gratifying as well. So.
Absolutely. It's so, because that's what I'm saying is like, it's so amazing. I mean, I sometimes had these moments, you know, where I stood back, which didn't happen much, but I stood back and then I just had this realization of, okay, so every single being in this cafe right now is eating my food, you know? And that was also sometimes so beautiful because, you know, that you were able to give, because I think it's also just love, you know? It's like you're at service, you know, you're giving people a part of you, and you were there making this for hours and hours, putting everything you have inside of it, and that then goes into people's bellies is like, it is extremely, you know, an amazing thing.
It is, and you see them coming back, and you know a little bit about their lives, and they become, you know, part of our family because we see them It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really, really beautiful. And do you guys have like, do you have any vegan heroes yourself? Is there anybody that you really admire from your activism or even cooking point of view?
Yeah, a lot of people. Too many to mention. Huh? Yeah. You mean more kind of in terms of chefs and all that? Yeah, I have a few people I follow on Instagram. I don't know. I really like. What do they like? I don't know.
It's so many.
Yeah, so many. And obviously, people like you or Miguel, they are always an inspiration. You are always an inspiration for us. Yeah, I cannot really think of anyone to mention just now, but I think there are people out there doing great things.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Carla?
Yeah, what about you, Carla?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's give him a moment. Like this guy. I'm obsessed.
No, but I mean, I think so many people that are in, they don't have a big name or anything. It's people that I meet on the daily basis, and they're doing their thing, and they don't need their name to be recognized or anything, but they're still doing a big difference.
Yeah.
I don't know, and this is what inspires me on my daily basis. Life. And I mean, I prefer those that are, a bit
humble.
Yeah, exactly. And these are the people who I take my inspiration from.
Just live by example. I think that's also what I love so much about you guys, is that you have so much heart and so much, compassion, and you live by example. You are exactly who you're presenting to the world to be, and that's so beautiful about you guys, And all those who can still live in London, go to Black Cat Cafe. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Before you get thrown out of the country, go to Black Cat Cafe. That's a good that's a good punchline.
Before you're thrown out.
Yeah, before you're thrown out, please try our curry. It's terrible. But it's just such a ridiculous. I mean, it's a horrible thing, and I hope for the best. If anything, but
Yeah, I still try to be positive because
I think it's important.
So many things horrible happening, but sometimes it's hard. Yeah.
And what would be for those who are coming tomorrow to eat? What is your chef's recommendation? Is there one thing that you really like from your own creations, Nacho?
Yeah, I've heard it's St. Valentine's Day tomorrow, so we have a lot of bookings. So we are gonna make a few special things, I think.
Okay.
Lately, what I've been really happy with is like a tempeh, which is made around the corner from us in Hackney Wick, from these guys called Club Cultured. And basically, it's like the tempeh is so good that you don't even need to blanch it before. It's just
amazing.
So I've been doing a lot of things with tempeh.
Yeah, I love tempeh. Oh my god. Yeah.
I was gonna say, and it's becoming from 2019 one of the most popular dishes, and it's still my favorite, is the fishless stew. By the way, stews are my favorite way of eating food, and stew is beautiful. It's Caribbean inspired, a lot of flavors. It has a little bit of a heat as well. Plantain, steamed rice is beautiful. It's
delicious.
A lot of on the plate. Yeah,
I haven't eaten yet, so I'm like, oh man, yes. Oh, I'm so hungry now. It all sounds so great. I wish I could come over tomorrow, but I will try to come soon because I love your food and I love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you back.
Yeah. Anything else to add, co-host Nacho?
No, thank you very much for inviting us. How is Sparky doing?
Yeah, he's good. He's very relaxed. He's on his chair now, just thinking, if you guys need me, I'm right here. But I know these guys. I love these guys. So No, all good. I want to thank you guys so much for contributing to the podcast, because it's such an honor, and I really feel very blessed that we've been able to share